This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Mecklen's Gym Marbella in Liverpool here. 2 press conferences, the world awaits for Stephen Smith against Boschiero and who's fielding who? Smith versus Fielding. What are you smirking for?
I'm happy.
Let's talk about Stephen Smith first. Obviously, been waiting a long time for a shot or a direct path, and he's got it now. 19th of September.
Obviously, he won the silver title, and he had an injured elbow which he had operated on, and then he picked up kidney stones. He was out for like 6 or 7 months. So we missed a little bit of momentum, and then we were looking for a shot at the WBC title, and we got offered a final eliminator against Vargas, and then the IBF offered us a final eliminator against Boschiero. We knew that the IBF final eliminator would bring the world title shot immediately next. Boschiero's a tough fight. He got robbed against Takehiro Ao for the WBC title in Japan. Only other man he lost to was Romain Jacob. So it's a massive fight for Stephen Smith. He has to win this fight if he wants to compete at world level. Win it and he gets a shot against Pedraza, or there's rumours of him moving up anyway, but it's a huge fight for him. And he really must win the fight, and Boschiero's a tough opponent. Buckland will be the opponent for Cardle. We made that fight this morning. We'll also add that we've made a request to the British Boxing Board of Control to sanction that fight, because otherwise we'll get told off. So that's a great fight for Scotty Cardle on the same card. Prize fighter winner Tom Doran. Bradley Saunders back from injury as well. He'll be on. Marcus Morrison, Jose Burton, Sean Dodds in a title fight. So unfortunately we only have 2,000 tickets at the Olympia, so it's going to be crammed in and mostly sold out already. But a big night for Stephen Smith, and interested to see how the Cardle Buckland fight plays out as well.
Moving on to November 7th, who's fielding who? Who do you want to win the fight, and who do you think's going to win the fight?
I want the best man to win the fight.
Cop out, go on.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that enjoyable for me having 2 fighters fight each other, and but you can't. You have to listen to public demand, and contrary to what people think, I do take in what people say and what people want. And this fight really, one of them had to step aside if they didn't want this fight. And when I talked to Rocky about other options, I said obviously you'd have to step aside from the Callum Smith fight. I said, well, I'm not stepping aside from the Callum Smith fight. And Callum Smith, I said, we'd go down the WBC route, but obviously you have to step aside from the Rocky Fielding fight. I'm not stepping aside. I said, well, then you both got to fight each other. Right. So it became a game of bluff, but luckily they're both holding big cards. So it got made, and the response has been phenomenal. I feel like a hero again. But seriously, it's a few people have said, and they're right. Don't you think this fight would have been bigger down the line? But you can't ignore what the public want. And I've had so much, such a huge response and so much pressure to make this fight that I've given people what they want. Is it the same Eggington against Gavin? Is it too early? Maybe, but you want it, so you got it.
Can't have it both ways.
No, but obviously most people are delighted that both fights are happening. But all you can do really as a promoter is give these fighters the opportunity and put opportunities to them and their teams, and give them an opportunity to make a load of money and be involved in big fights, and that's what we're doing.
Is it difficult to answer who has more to lose in this fight? Is it equal?
I think the answer to that question yesterday about Gavin and Eggington was a lot easier to answer. Here, I think they've both got a hell of a lot to lose. Both are well ranked with the world governing bodies. Callum's got a WBC silver title, which is a big title, like an interim world title. But they're both world level. I mean, everybody loves a local derby, but when there's a local derby between 2 quality fighters that really matters on the world stage, it's very different. And this is a fight that's going to ignite the city. It really is. And I can't wait. I can't wait to be there on the night. And just, the only thing that's horrible for me is, and it was the same with Coyle Campbell the other night, you're watching these guys get hit and you're like, oh no, and you're thinking, oh, but I've got the other geezer, and it's. I like to be heart on sleeve, banging the canvas, just blood pumping. But I also like to be giving my fighters opportunities, and this is a wonderful opportunity for the pair of them.
In contrast to the Campbell-Cole fight, some people kind of saying, oh, there's not really a rivalry there, and etc., as in bad blood and all this stuff. But here, I know, between these 2 families, there is something there, 100%.
The rivalry, it's not like a horrible bit, but it's like there's rivalry between family and friends, I'm not saying like it's a feud, because it's not, rather than the fighters. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Callum particularly likes Rocky.
But this stems from the Paul Smith and Rocky
it does.
Fielding.
That's where it's all started from. So, and you'll get that as the fight builds up. But Callum, they're both quite quiet, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They both think they're going to win. But I think they'll, as the fight builds, there will be a little bit of a circus. It's a big local derby. Things will happen. You'll see most of it on Twitter. I mean, these days, people say nothing here, and then when they get home, everyone's retweeting little sly digs, and you know what I mean? And it just builds. But, of course there's rivalry. It's two Scousers having a fight for the British title and for world honours. So, it's going to be a lot at stake, and the atmosphere is going to be incredible. And you're going to have to pick your man, aren't you?
Well, I don't, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying, if you go on the night, you've got to pick your man, haven't you? You've got to pick who you want to win this fight. Yeah. You're either Rocky Fielding or you're Callum Smith. What was your
response from the favourites and retweets?
It looks like Callum Smith's a slight favourite going into the fight, which I kind of felt like he would be. I think Rocky's massively underrated. I do, and I think he has big punch power. I think his punch power is underrated. He made a couple of good points. He said that I feel that I've got the power to trouble Callum Smith, and if I hit him like Rabras hit him at times, I think he's in trouble. Callum's very confident about this fight, very confident. I think that they've sparred rounds in the past, but Rocky's got better and better and better, and you can't underestimate Oliver Harrison either. Very cool customer, very confident about this fight. What I love about these fights is that you can't stop talking about them. It's like Gavin Eggington. We talked about Gavin Eggington the whole way home after the press conference yesterday, and we'll do the same today. What do you think of that? Yeah, but I spoke to him and he thinks that, and
Do you ever look at it like, I remember asking you this before Brooke fought Gavin, and I said to you, they're both your fighters. Is there subconsciously a fighter that is more beneficial for you to win as a promoter?
No.
Well, you genuinely mean that?
No. I mean, look, you've got Callum Smith, who's got the profile of the Smith family, and you've got Rocky Fielding, who sells a lot of tickets in Liverpool, very, very popular. Honestly, and sometimes, obviously, you had Coyle Campbell the other week. I can see you asking me a question, this guy's a gold medalist, or this, you've invested in him, but I always, and this will sound cheesy, but when you make a fight, may the best man win. And if it's Tommy Coyle, good luck to him. If it's Luke Campbell, good luck to him. Here, I think they're both in the same kind of position. Callum's probably got the slight edge because he's got the WBC silver title, and he's ranked. He's about to go #1 in the WBC. So, but
you don't look at it and think, well, if fighter A wins, he has more pedigree to move forward and become a world champion, or
no, because if fighter A wins, pedigree's out the window. He's beaten fighter B, so obviously he's the better fighter. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to think that the winner of this fight is more likely to win a world title than the loser of this fight. That's logic. I know styles make fights, blah blah. But basically, the winner of this fight, the profile of this fight will be so big that De Gale, Groves, Abraham, these all are the fights they can have for the world title. So this is why it's such a massive opportunity for both fighters.
Undercard?
Haven't even thought about it yet, really. Being totally honest. I mean, I know roughly who's going to need to get out that kind of time.
What about the Hollywood sensation?
The Hollywood sensation, Tony Bellew?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what happens with... we're waiting on Hernandez against Ramirez. Tony wants the fight really now. I don't just want to put him out in an 8 or 10 round.
What about Edison Miranda too?
Or about Isaac Chilemba 3. Don't rule it out. I'm probably going to stick him on the Jamie McDonald bill in Texas in an 8 or a 10 rounder. Because people don't want to see that over here. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine I go out now and say, we're adding Tony Bellew to Leeds and it's an 8 rounder. I mean, people moan for the sake of moaning. There, it's like, why are you adding it? It's like, so they're right as well. But people don't want to watch that. So let's put him on in Texas, give him a little bit of US exposure, give him a trip there. Dave Coldwell's out there, so I can add him on.
Totally, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else to add? I know we did half out yours yesterday, covered a few things, but...
Not really. Big news coming from Manchester, probably on Friday.
Okay. Involving 1 or 2 fights?
Well, 1 to start with, but could end up involving quite a few. See how it plays out.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Who phoned you late last night?
Lewis DeCubas, Heyman Boxing, Peter Nelson, HBO. Not sure what that one is. Tom Loeffler. Oh, I called him.
Oh, mate, Tom.
He mugged me off. Billy Nelson, missed call. If you're watching, Billy, I must get back to you. Tony Bellew, missed call. Swerved him completely. That's about it, really.
All right.
Pretty boring night.
Just quickly, someone just asked me to ask you on Twitter.
I mean, if
It's
I
fine.
was like that would be a good camera angle.
It's fine, it's fine. Someone just asked me, just remembered. Golovkin, Lemieux, pay-per-view. About comments that you made about previously that Golovkin wasn't. But I'm just, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I know.
So
This
like
is fine.
after the Groves fight, which was in May 2013, 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. People were saying, oh, what about Froch Golovkin? I said, the only way that fight could happen is if Golovkin was a pay-per-view fighter. That's the only way money could be generated. That was in like September, October. And even up till January, February, March, yeah, probably April or May was when, April, May, June is when we started to talk to HBO about Froch Groves being a pay-per-view fight. So over the period of 2 or 3 fights, yes, he's turned into a pay-per-view fighter. But the fact is, Froch don't want to fight again, so it's irrelevant anyway. But when I was making the comments, I know because I spoke to HBO. Is Froch Golovkin pay-per-view? No. Is Froch Golovkin pay-per-view now, a year on or 10 months on? Yes.
Okay. Sort of just sprung to mind, that's all. Okay. All right, Eddie, thanks for watching Typhoon TV.
Always a pleasure, old
And
boy.
enjoy your holes. What's that?
The WBC convention in Las Vegas. Nearly a year ago, and it's still in my jacket.
That
It's
means it
terrible.
hasn't been washed for a year.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's worrying, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Cheers.